Hello and welcome to the Subpad Podcast, your entry into the land of no easy answers, as we journey through the vagaries of the mind, attempting to unravel the mysteries of why our brains brain.
Hey everyone. Welcome to the show. I am Kristen Remore. This, as always, is Erin Stewart.
In the land of no easy subscription. What are we talking about? It's very easy. You just hit the button there.
It's pretty much the easiest thing you can do. It's just
with the buttons.
click that button.
Facebook,
subscribe,
you know,
like.
find us. Get us. It's everywhere. And soon to be even more places.
Ooh, stay tuned. So what are we talking about today?
Well, so we're going to cover the dark side of technology today, apparently.
Again, I feel like that's all we ever cover of technology.
Yeah. We did cover the dark side of woolly mammoths. I mean, don't be on the wrong end of a woolly mammoth.
Talked about the dark side of mind control. I feel like the mind control helmets and the woody mammoths are soon to come together.
Mind woolly mammoths? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I really want to ride a woolly. That'll be a big, right? Like that'll be the attraction at the ride the woolly. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so there's a new development where apparently they can use the existing Wi-Fi in your house to be able to see you and all the stuff inside of your house.
I don't think the article was quite that specific about spying on you individually.
As you sit in the bathroom, they are
I was like, as
watching
our
you.
entire viewers are like, oh God, for putting on pants, deleting their cache.
Which I would recommend. I mean, if you're watching this show, there's questions. You know, but yeah, it. I mean, we talked about the ethics of bringing back woolly mammoth, the ethics of being able to see into people's houses without their consent. I mean, that's pretty clear, right?
Well, I mean, and like anything, the technology was developed as a means to keep you and all of us safe, because that's always how they...
I feel so much safer knowing that they can see me while I'm in my bathroom pooping.
Now, I would like to hope that no one really cares enough to be doing that, but, you know, who knows?
Well, I don't think they can choose when they... I mean, if they just hit that button and it turns on, I mean, if I happen to be, right, like, what are you going to...
So, I mean, I think it was developed, obviously, for the military. And so it was, you know, for tactical reasons, it'd be helpful to be able to...
for mom and dad to be able to track the kids would be a good one, but...
Oh, God, you don't want to know what they're up to.
But it does feel more like a military development than some mom who was just like, where the fuck are those? Oh, I can do it with the Wi-Fi? Awesome!
But like anything, that's a lot of things developed, you know, for military technology to keep us safe, somehow just managed to make their way into our everyday, like, police force and surveillance and privacy laws and all of that. So a part of it is it needs to be available for any Wi-Fi network, right? It's going to be, like, underwritten into laws, for example, that this is now something that could happen, just in case there could be, you know, some covert terrorism going on next door. You know, you'd want to be able to see into that shit. But it leaves it open then for... Why would you want that?
Well, because wiretaps are ineffective, I'm assuming.
Okay, good answer. That is one reason I suppose you would want that.
Right? I mean, the existing technology is hope they have an open window or send someone in to put microphones in places they hope they won't find them. I mean, that basically, as per all the cop shows at least, I mean, that's right. That's what they've told us they're using, right? So the ability to, you know, sit across the street in a coffee shop, ping their Wi-Fi and figure out where everybody is inside a building.
Yeah.
And that would be invaluable information for them, right? And I mean...
It absolutely would be for police force and for military tactics, for sure. I think it would be a benefit.
Well, it might stop them from being so... indiscriminate sometimes with their
well, yeah, you'd like to hope that would
on people's
help
doors.
Accuracy.
Yeah, you know, you get all these people who are getting murdered for no reason when they're in the wrong place at the wrong... Yeah, so let's hope it cuts down on that for sure.
I mean, it does lead...
I don't think it's going to do much with the racism, but I guess sure there might be a possibility, I suppose, yeah.
Sure.
Who knew being able to see through walls stopped racism? Craziness.
That's all it took this entire time. More wall transparency.
Just couldn't see them. That's what was the
That's
problem. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I'm racist because I can't see you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, but yeah.
Actually, that actually probably is a good. I'm racist because I can't see you. That's actually probably a good portion of were you to actually get to know someone of that color or race or whatever, you would probably find out, hey, wait a minute, they're kind of like me. Shit. Right,
Oh god, they're just human as well.
yeah, right? I mean, realistically,
This is not what I was prepared to deal with today.
part of how we could get past this thing is just recognizing that, when you get to the meat and potatoes of us, the flesh and bones inside of us, it's all basically the same thing, just humans mucking around being stupid.
All of our data looks the same through a wall.
Well, and this is kind of the, you wouldn't be able to see the color of people. There. Yeah, that was a good one. That's actually very good. Because I was trying to figure out how to get back to that. Thank you for saving that whole, and that, yeah, right? Like, yeah, you can't really see if it's just green light.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I picture it. I haven't seen how this technology works, but I picture it like the Matrix.
I think that was the picture they used for the article anyway, so that was...
Yeah, whether it is or isn't, I have no idea. But I mean, like, I guess the concern with this, same as, link back to our mind control episode, shameless plug, is how could this potentially be used badly? Right? Like, how could this, it's something going into it that this will never affect you, right? If you don't have anything to hide, then you have nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah,
we've heard these things over and over and over.
It's fine.
But again, like all of these new laws and things that are coming into play right now are all things that we're giving up little bits of kind of our freedom under this whole if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to be afraid of thing, right? So, if you really think about it, and please comment and let us know, right? Like, how would you feel about it? It's now just okay for government and law enforcement to look at you through your walls, see what you're up to. How do you feel about that?
Well, this is version 1, where the next version might get better, right? Like once they learn that they can now, instead of just using...
detail?
Well, instead of just using your singular Wi-Fi, if they can use every Wi-Fi in the building and ping it and have that all, become a more clearer picture, right? Where does that go, right? When they get to the point where, they can use the Wi-Fi there to tie into the cameras and actually get your picture, right? Like, there's the implications of this are far-reaching, and that's kind of the problem with a lot of this stuff is we do these things and we hope that the best interests of everybody will be first and foremost as we develop them.
And again, it makes sense for, from a law enforcement perspective, it'd be incredibly helpful. But it's just too good of an opportunity, I think, for some major companies to extract some data from it.
That's
that
the problem.
I can't foresee that these two things would not somehow.
And those pictures, where do they go? Right? Who's storing those? What happens to the images that they're using, that they're getting from this, right?
Yeah.
What happens to the data that they're collecting from it? What happens to the, right? Like if it becomes something now where every company out there can just send a ping and they don't even have to be anywhere in the vicinity of you, right? But they can ping you and now somehow gather that data and now they know where your entire family is at all times. Oh, I don't think so, buddy. Like that's once it becomes the arena of, like, because this is the problem, it's been developed for, but it will soon be subverted by, as tying back to the name of this thing, right? Where some
I don't know if we want to be associated with that,
but that's kind of where the idea is to look at this from all sides, to find the side of the nefarious actor who is actually trying to use this technology to do something that you don't want them to be using it for. That's to find a purpose for it that it wasn't originally intended for.
Yeah.
But that because you haven't planned for that unintended use, now we have no defense.
Yeah.
Right? Now there's no way to shut it off. Now it's just constantly pinging you and it's constantly sending that data out and somebody can collect it and you have no way to stop it. And that unfortunately is the, I'm good at finding a nefarious plot of this.
Well, yeah, there's a nefarious plot in most things, unfortunately. But
and that becomes the issue. And now if it's not just, cop data, who else can get access to it?
Yeah.
Right? If Google is using that information, right? because they've kind of done it before, right? And that's, and it doesn't even have to necessarily be a nefarious actor, as stupidity is usually the answer for most of this stuff, right? Like it could have been just like, oh, we didn't even realize that it was sending your data out to everybody in the in the vicinity. Like, oh, gee, oh my goodness, and now the stalkers have a means of finding out who's in. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, right, and that's. Yeah, so it's going to be...
We were just collecting it to sell you more shit. That was all, I swear.
Which I just... Like, the idea that that's justification for something still just boggles my imagination.
Well, I mean, it's piggybacked. That happens to be a desired outcome, right? So again, it's sold to you and packaged. And, just look at the last few years, how many laws changed under the pandemic. These are things that are meant to... We're introducing it just to keep you safe for all of these reasons. These things never went away, and a lot of companies jumped on it to make a lot of fucking money.
Hey, we're getting
on
into
the
that.
backs
We
of
got
it.
banned on this, so don't. You're getting into territory there. I mean,
Sorry, join us on Rumble.
We're saying things now that you don't like to hear from us. Unfortunately, it's one of those.
All right, yeah. So no company has ever taken advantage of anything under the guise of public
YouTube would
safety.
never do anything.
They have all of our best interests at heart. And
Thank you, YouTube, for being so great.
Thank you. We bow to the great and almighty powerful
The
YouTube.
wonderful platform we are currently. For now.
Again, please join us over on Rumble.
Join us everywhere, right? We're everywhere. We're trying to be inclusive with all of this. It's one of those things.
But anyway, to not say the obvious, things have gone sideways in the past, and I think people are likely to maybe see opportunity in something again, and maybe, again, not for the nefarious reasons, but an opportunity to make money.
Well, I mean, also think of, we could be being pinged right now. That's the issue with this, is that now that we know that it's a possibility, how do you know when you're not being?
Well, and that's it. I mean, as we all know now anyways, we're all being constantly monitored. Whether,
Which it's still just, and so now they needed better ways of monitoring us. Like the phone wasn't enough to figure out where the fuck you are at all times. Now they need to have a means of actually like pinging you so that they can.
Well, if it's all for data collection, then it's, the more data that you can collect on someone, the more specific data you can get, the better you can target them, and you can extract whatever profit you're looking for out of it, right?
But so now that's when they tie the Wi-Fi to the things connected to it, right? Mm-hmm. Now they know who you are. Now it's not just a matter of they have a green outline of some person. Now they know, because they have pinged you, you are carrying this phone, they know it is you.
Yeah, well, and if you're connected to that Wi-Fi they're using, they'd know that anyways.
Yeah,
right?
Actually, that's true.
But you're right. I mean, out of the general world, if you just happen to be a random passerby, that they're just, spying on through the wall. But, I mean, that is true. Once everything starts getting...
Well, now if you walk into McDonald's and use their Wi-Fi, is it pinging you?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's now the ethical questions that start to come in here is the non-ethical use of these things that they say is for our own. It's just for tracking our customers. What? It's just so that we can give you the best experience that you are owed as a consumer.
Yeah, it's all for your benefit.
You are entitled.
You were going to get the best Big Mac you're ever going to get as long as you give us all your data.
So that we can collect the data on how much you enjoyed that Big Mac and how much you want more Big Macs.
Well, now we can spy on you and see how fast that Big Mac moves through you.
Oh, they put microchips in the Big Macs? You guys are worried about the vaccines.
Oh, don't say that word.
Oh,
Fuck.
God. No, sorry. And this, again, version 1 of this technology, right? Once they figure out better ways of doing this, the tracking just becomes, right? And it's ubiquitous now, where there's just no time in your life where someone doesn't have a finger on what you're doing. For some God unknown reason. Like, I was pooping. Leave me alone.
Why do you need to watch this?
You didn't need to. I was what did you think I was doing in the bathroom? Come on. Like, there's just no other, come on. You know, it just, yeah, it's very scary to really put yourself to that. You know, you go back to like the movies of the 90s, like what was The Net, where Sandra Bullock had the, right, like, and it was, oh no, they're gonna, right, and now they're actually like able to see through the walls, and I mean, this was again, you know, sci-fi tropes that we, you know, we're just like, oh, there's no way they'll, oh shit, they can do that. Ah,
Yeah.
We're
like, fuck, never thought that was gonna happen.
yeah, you know, and that's unfortunately, you know, the where we are right now, or what you thought was not possible is becoming possible, and unfortunately now we have to try to find safeguards to prevent that from becoming something that's used against us.
Well, and like, what could be the benefits of it? You know, like, I understand what government and big tech and everything's going to say is it's all like, oh, the more information we have on you, the better we can develop, you know, public policy and community programs and things that the people actually want to create better lives.
Is for.
Right? Yeah, but that's what they say we're developing all of this for. So apart from that, and everyone please chime in, comment below.
You got better reasons?
What else do we think could be benefits of this? And do we think that the benefits they're saying is that actually maybe true? Is that what they're going for?
Yeah, does anybody actually believe this? Is anybody actually like looking at this and going, oh, it's all for everybody's best interest? There's no way they
Let's look at the last few years of an insane amount of data collection that was going to be used in our best interests. And did any of that actually pan out?
Well, this is the problem, is that now they keep looking at them and just the egregious overreach of this data harvesting is just...
But if you said that at the time, you were a freaking tinfoil hat wearing fucking Yahoo, that would be like, no, that would never happen. And now we're going, oh shit, exactly what everyone was afraid of happening is happening. All of that data that was harvested that would never be used for anything except your health and safety is now, oh shit, oh, that was sold 1,000 times over and held on insecure servers and belonging to companies. And you're like, wait a second, I didn't give permission for this company. Why does Amazon have my data, you know?
And now you've got AIs that are speaking for us and using data that was mostly scraped from the internet, right? Where they've essentially just taken all of the words that have been written and used it to train a AI that's now speaking to us in terms that you're not really going to be able to tell aren't human anymore. And it's using data that, you know, I didn't give you permission to use that. I guess somebody might have, but, you know.
Well, and that's it. I mean, it's you're giving permission just simply by using devices, right? By simply being on your phone.
Yeah, they made,
you know, every time there's that software update, I'm sure we've said this on the show before, who reads those like 500 pages? You just go, I agree, right? Like, no one knows even what. Every website that pops up, we use cookies and it pops up in a big thing. You just go, fuck, okay, because you want to get on with whatever it is you're looking at, right? So we are constantly giving our permission away. You know, and then it finally hits the point where we go, oh, hold on a second, hold on. How did we get here? I don't want this. And it's like, well, it's fucking already too late. The issue I have is major things like this that, in my opinion, do really invade our own personal privacy. These are issues that I think should be voted on before they become part of public policy, because this affects everybody's life. And it's this whole fucking whether you have something to hide or not. You know, the fucking bullshit, right? Like, you should have a right whether you want your privacy invaded that way, right? And if you genuinely feel like it would make the world better and you would feel safer, then yeah, absolutely, go and vote for it. But everyone has the right to be able to say, I don't think I want this. Like,
I mean, if we have the option to opt out of them collecting our data, which is something that just apparently started, you know, we should have the option of being able to essentially scrub ourselves, right? Like, there should be a means of, if I don't want you to be able to find me, there really should be a means of us to be able to do that, you know? And I mean, barring, you know, again, nefarious purposes, the idea that you need to track me at all times of the day, I never signed up for that at all, you know? And the idea that just because I carry around a phone, you now feel it necessary to track me at all times, that doesn't seem like part of the contract that I signed up for. In fact, I specifically reject all of that every chance I get, right?
Yeah. And it sneaks its way in there with some other thing.
Like, I already bought the thing. What do you need to make more money off of me on advertising for? Like, come on, give me a break here.
Well, there's never enough money for these people.
Which, you know, I put down to our debt society and all, but everybody's got to collect 4% interest on everything.
Oh, yeah,
Inflation.
nice.
Now it's 25%. So I mean, right? But it's definitely not the profits.
No.
Nothing
Don't
to
worry
do
about
with.
those. Everyone's really struggling.
Just ignore
Yeah.
all the profits. When they say record-breaking profits, that just is a
No.
that's just
You know
it
what?
doesn't
You've
mean
taken
anything.
that so out of context.
We
people.
broke the record last year too, so I mean.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, and then this is where. So now, is it your profits that we're protecting by you having this Wi-Fi tracking of us? Like this is.
Well, and that's what it seems like.
Yeah,
It's.
it doesn't feel like it's in our best interests.
Or
That's
maybe
where
it
I have a
does. Again,
problem.
please, let us know if you feel like it is. Because again, I can see why it would be beneficial in a certain setting.
But it's also going to be the issue of it's the same problem with like a SWAT team in a city, right? Where if you have all of this gear lying around in your vault, right, you're gonna find a fucking excuse to go use it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what they find, unfortunately, with a lot of these, like, if these police budgets have gotten to the point where they've just accumulated all of this extra shit that they don't necessarily need, but there's the one time that we might need to go smash something in, right? And so we need this tank to be able to go in there and smash doors, right? Like, but the problem again now is now they're looking for something to drive that tank into, right? And they'll find whatever, right? Like, yeah, we can drive the tank today. Woohoo, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? Without it necessarily being something that you needed to bring like, did you really need to be able to track us to be able to figure out how to get into that? No, you didn't, right? Like, I feel like there's other ways of doing this, and unfortunately it's this, it's the ends justify the means, we've got to do it in order to be able. No, you don't, it's okay.
No, well, that's an excellent point, though, right? Because these technologies, they cost so much money to develop that you need to justify that development and that spending. So then, I mean,
I got to be
it's not
pinging everybody
unheard
I
of,
can.
but,
I got to be pinging everybody every.
But you
every
need to
time I can
create
ping.
an issue big enough to justify the spending to develop that technology, right? And whether that is warranted or not, or maybe an exaggeration of
And
things.
now we're just
to
creating more
get...
enemies in order to find more people to ping. Like,
Yeah.
this is my problem. Like, these budgets of these, like, I'm not for defunding, but we definitely need to look at what we're using it for and whether it's a justified reason for what we're doing with this stuff. And that, like you said, we should be able to have some sort of vote on these things
considering
before it becomes.
It's our money, and that's the thing most people forget, right? Is that,
somebody paid for it, and it was probably us.
Well, we do pay for it. That's our tax dollars.
Yeah.
We pay our tax money to the government, which then gives budgets and then allocates that money out to different contracts, right? So it's our money at the end of the day, right? And this whole idea of just like, no, it's fine. They get, free reign to be able to make these decisions, and it's our fucking money. We should absolutely be able to have a say in how that money is spent. And that's a big flaw in our current system, in my opinion, right? Like, the idea behind it is we've, democratically elected people that are in alignment with our, cultural goals and values that will then, make these decisions and spend our money because they are reflective of. But that's broken down and fallen apart, as I think most people are aware of now. It doesn't even fucking matter who's voted in. They are not working for us. They are kind of working for, people that represent a very small portion of the population that are trying to profit from the rest of us. Right? So it's, in my opinion now, it's almost like stealing. It's like we're just going to take all of this money, but we're going to do with it as we wish, that's going to further our own interests and actually not help the people that gave it to us in the first place.
That we had to extract it from. Yeah.
Yeah. And then try and be like, oh, you should bow down to us and be grateful, or your supreme fucking overlords that work for us.
Look at all the doors we knocked down with this tank. I mean, look at all
that
the
none
people
of you
that we
voted
pinged.
for.
Yeah, look at all the pretty pictures that we made of people that we've pinged that were just in the bathroom having a crap, but I guess we've... That's the best time to break the door down, is when they're having a crap, because then they're helpless.
And now we can see exactly when that moment is.
Which, unfortunately, I just,
Do you know how many military operations have been botched by invading before the person's on the shitter?
Right? Like, that would be, right? Like, that's absolutely what they're fucking waiting for. Like, I just, it's become this, again, when you have to justify the means for this thing, that would be something that you would be absolutely looking for, is if we're going to use this ping, what are we going to use it for? Well, to find the best time to break the door down. Like, would be, right? And what would be the best time? Right?
Yeah.
Sleeping or crapping, basically. I mean, right?
Yeah. Hopefully not both at the same time.
All right, we go. Oh, dude. Oh, okay, let him go. He's fine. Okay, just go. What a mess. Anyway. Well, I mean, hey, if somebody broke my door down while I was sleeping, yeah, the bed's probably going to be messy, right? I mean, what the? Oh, come on, God. Yeah. And I mean, I'm struggling very hard to find the positive. Like, and I mean,
Yeah.
like my feeling is, unfortunately, the cops already kind of have too much power in a lot of cases. And I mean, we're in Canada. I'm a white dude. I've had very few issues with cops, right? That's just been my experience, and I'm sure others in Canada who have had completely different experiences than me. And other countries are a completely different thing where it's hard pressed to feel like they're on your side even, right? So the idea that in a country, like a communist country, like imagine Chinese people living under a system where it's expected. It's not just something where they might, but they are pinging you every day, all fucking day, to know where you are. And if you're not where you're supposed to be, they will fucking come and get you. Like, just imagine living in a communist country where they could ping you and know where you are.
Probably
at all
won't
fucking,
have to imagine that soon enough,
right?
by the
Like,
sounds
just
of it.
the idea that this isn't going to be used in just the worst possible means is again just something where I struggle to find I mean, I love science. I'm all for science, right? Like let's like I get that somebody had to figure this out, and it's probably better that somebody figured it out. I mean, the idea that there hasn't been some actor for the past 10 years who's already figured out how to ping us, and now we're just catching up to, and they're going, oh yeah, we totally figured this thing out. Nobody's been doing it. Definitely nobody has pinged you up until today. Today was the first day we turned the pinging machine on, and nobody's ever figured out how to ping you before. That again seems kind of this.
Yeah, well, that's a good point too. By the time we hear about these things, it's like, yeah, it's already.
They've been pinging us for years, right? Like that's what that ringing in my ears has been. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, that explains everything. I wonder, did they really have to make it so loud? And that again, living in a country where they feel like they have free reign to do that. I mean, we at least supposedly have the choice and vote here. Where we can
have
say
the illusion of it anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But in a country that doesn't even have the illusion, like just imagine what that would look like, where, again, these tools are going to be used to oppress you. There's just no question. They're going to find some way to use it to make your life basically miserable, which is just shit, And the idea that we still do that to each other is just mind-boggling to me, that the idea is control instead of just, hey man, we're just struggling through. We're just stumbling along, and people fuck up all the time, and that doesn't make them,
Well, and that's the question, right? When has more control ever historically been a good thing? And if you have any examples of it, please comment and let us know, because I can't really think of one. Human history seems to say the complete and total opposite every single time. The goal is more control, and always the same thing under the guise of being better for the people and everything else, and it falls apart. So at what point are we going to go, hey, maybe control isn't the answer? Maybe accepting that people are different and want different things, and we can maybe just work together and learn from each other in differences instead of.
Well, that we'll get farther.
Yeah.
By cooperating. This is the part that I really just
at least try it.
Like, how hard is it if you're faced with a 3-foot pile of snow and you're the only person that has to trek through that? Like, how hard is that shit? If you're the first person that has to plow that path, it's a shit show. But if you had a bunch of people behind you that you could trade off every once in a while, and it got too hard for me, now let them carry on, and they'll drag it through here, and now this person takes a little bit, and we follow along behind each other, and we all just get that little bit further because of it. Like, why would that not be the end goal of this thing instead of, I got this, fuck all of you, I'm gonna do this myself? right? The idea that you're a country even that thinks you can do this by yourself, but we trade. Like, it's just, there's no country in the world that doesn't trade with someone else, no matter how oppressive or, right? Like, and the idea that you can just go without that is just, right? I mean, I who was it? Talking about how if white people had, it was Trevor Noah in his new special. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. Talking about how colonization, the idea of the British going out and colonizing other places and being like, we're going to go and take these things. Well, it was because when they left their place, they had no spices, they had no color, there was nothing going, like, it's dreary. Like, you look at Britain, I mean, if you take away all the ethnicity, everything that they've brought in from, it's a pretty dreary, like British cuisine, blood pudding and like Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire pudding is just dough that you just like,
it's great.
Deep fry in a, ugh.
Oh, with gravy. Oh, it's amazing.
But the gravy without spice, without something in it to give it, right? Like, the idea that without having this extra something here, right? That you can do without, you know, that despite the fact that just in that, just across that line right over there, they have something called cinnamon. Right? That you can take this bland oatmeal-y crap that you've been, right? And that you can put a little bit of cinnamon, and then suddenly it's this explosion of flavor now. And it's just this completely different thing that you've created just by adding a spice that wasn't something that you had here. You had to go get it from somewhere else. And with any luck, you did it nicely.
Yes.
Right?
As we all know, it was all just pretty please and may I thank yous and kumbayas and hand holding.
Tying this back to the surveillance state, you know, the idea that you're going to add more surveillance and this is going to make a sense of community, that we're using this to build something instead of using it to try to tear things down that we don't like. That just seems a real problem for me. And again, I'm trying to find the positive side of this, like what we could use this for that would actually be for the common good, for everybody's common good. Not just the police, not just the government that wants to track you, not just the company that wants to know more of your data, but like for everybody, for everybody's good. What would, you know, this Wi-Fi pinging thing be actually useful for? And I'm fucking stuck here. If you've got one,
yeah, please.
Comments here, drop them. Because I have, nothing, unfortunately, in terms of just like a altruistic, you know, for everybody to the detriment of no one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I got nothing. We're going to leave it there.
All right. Yeah. Cool. On this very uplifting resolution to the episode.
Well, you know, dark side of tech. That's where we have to kind of try to find these other sides. And again, I'm hoping someone out there, maybe in the tech or the military, might be able to fill us in on the actual stats of what this might actually be able to you know, solve for us. What problems this might actually really, you know, feasibly be able to be, you know, put towards.
Yeah. In
order to actually solve some actual problems that are, again, for the common good, not just for your very specific good.
Yeah.
You know, that unfortunately becomes the problem here is where does that go, right?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Like I said, if you got something, let us know. I'm all ears, and I would love to hear it so we can pick it apart. Shit all over it.
Cool, then, so we can pick it apart.
Exactly. As we do on this show, just fuck it. Yeah, we tried to find balance, but I don't know if there is one on this one. So definitely no easy answers on this, but
never is.
But yeah, if you've got some sort of positive side to this, we would love to hear it. Don't tell us the negatives. We already know. If you got other negatives, sure, let us know. But
yeah. Well, I mean, speak your mind, for sure. What do you think? That's it. We're fairly non-discriminatory when it comes to comments.
You know.
All right, well, thank
Unless
you.
they're stupid.
There are no stupid comments on
Totally
this
non-discriminatory unless they're stupid. Then we will discriminate the fuck out of it.
All right, well, on that that note,
All right.
thank you for joining us, everybody.
Subscribe, hit the buttons, like us, follow us
Like,
on the
share, all
Facebook.
of
We're
that fun
everywhere.
stuff.
Go get us.
We really appreciate every week when you join us.
Every second you are listening, we are appreciating it. And you know, that last year was amazing, and this year's going to be even better. So we look forward to what we can bring for you tomorrow.
Indeed. Well, have a great day, everyone.
Have the best one.
Bye-bye.